So night 2 of WrestleMania has officially come to an end, and I'm going to say it here flat out. I feel and I believe that night 2 roughly kicked night 1's ass squarely all around the Allegiant Stadium. Night 1, really, when you compare it, it was really all about the main event. The main event of night 1 saved that show last night. Here tonight, you had some excellent matches to start off the show. You had the main event, which surprisingly, a lot of people are polarized as far as the main event. We'll get to that in a second. But tonight, night 2, like I said, overall kicked night 1's ass. So like I mentioned before, the main event of night 2 was John Cena against Cody Rhodes. John Cena came out here. He had his typical music entrance, but with this typical music entrance, he did not have a Titantron. It was literally just a all-out blackout screen with the words John Cena written all over it. They made mention of it, and obviously when Cody came out, you saw the stark comparisons between the whole Cody, American Nightmare presentation versus John Cena's presentation here tonight. And really the match was, as far as John Cena trying to slow the match down, trying to almost toy with Cody Rhodes, almost trying to make him his bitch throughout this entire match. What I did find very interesting was, okay, so before I get to The Rock, because we did not see The Rock, this crowd was heavily pro Cena. They did not really respond to Cody. They were actually booing him here. It was a majority, for the most part, booing him. It was almost like that Rock Hogan WrestleMania 18 vibe, where they were really pro Cena. They really didn't want Cody to win, even get some offense here. But speaking of The Rock didn't even show up at all, which kind of makes me question this heel turn. What was the point of aligning with The Rock if Rock's not even in this entire involvement? He's not even at WrestleMania. That kind of made me super suspicious. What the hell's going on with this? But regardless, we get to the end. Travis Scott comes out. Travis Scott, after the referee gets laid out, Travis Scott comes out here, and he essentially is trying to fuck with Cody, and Cena holds him up. Cody eventually tosses Cena to the outside, grabs Travis Scott for the crossroads, hits him with the crossroads. In the distance, you see Cena with the WWE Championship ready to hit Cody Rhodes squarely in the face. Cody Rhodes grabs it, starts this tug-of-war with Cena. Cena obviously loses the tug-of-war. Cody has the title now. Cena retreats. He's almost like this chicken shit heel. He's begging Cody not to do it. Cody is, he's tempted because he doesn't know what to do. Everybody in the crowd wants him to do it. Everybody on commentary wants him to do it. I wanted him to do it. I was like, hit this guy, bro. This guy literally busted you open and hit you with the wipe out at the Elimination Chamber, yet you're having these doubts about not wanting to hit him. At this point, you know what I'm saying? At this point, the gloves come off. This is WrestleMania. You're fighting for the industry, so to speak, right? And Cody, he just can't do it. He puts down the title. Cena low blows him, hits him with the championship, gets the referee from the outside. 1, 2, 3. John Cena is the new 17th world champion, WWE world champion. He breaks the record for Ric Flair as he celebrates with Travis Scott. And a lot of people have mixed opinions over the match, over the ending. Obviously, I knew Cena was going to win here. Obviously, I knew Cody. It just made more sense for Cena to win here. Cody is obviously going to regain that championship back at a later point to give him some sort of thing to fight against. But like I said, it was really weird that we did not get to see Rock. We did not get to see him at all in his involvement. We did not get to see even Seth or Paul Heyman here. I kind of thought that they were going to be here to help Cena out or just be involved in the main event in some way or some fashion. But that's how we ended off the night with night 2 WrestleMania. John Cena going off as the 17th world champion here tonight. Now let's go back to the beginning of the show with Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. I think for me, this was probably my match of the night. This match kicked off, and it kicked off hot. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. These three women, they just have this undeniable chemistry that this match had you glued the entire time, the entire duration of it. It was a really great opener here to kick off the show. And like I said, just from the start, this night 2 already leaps and bounds better than the opener for night 1. And we did get Io Sky. She retained her championship, I believe, after a moonsault from the top on, I think, Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair, I forget, but Io Sky did get the win here. She retains her championship. We then moved on to the Sin City street fight between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, and I think this was a great match as well. These two guys, obviously, they benefited from the whole stipulation of the Sin City street fight. Obviously, it made for a much more entertaining watch rather than, these two guys just having a straight singles one-on-one match. There was tables involved. There was, going back and forth with these two guys, steel steps, chairs, etc. The ending spot here that I really liked was Drew McIntyre. He's getting set up for the old school by Damian Priest. Damian Priest gets pushed off the old school onto 2 tables, and that's how Drew McIntyre ends up winning. He also gives him a claymore with the chair that he wedged into the corner onto Damian Priest. Also, there was a really good callback to the last year. Drew McIntyre, throughout the beginning of the match, he has Damian Priest on the outside, down and out. He grabs, I think, his brother's phone, takes a selfie with Damian Priest laid out, and I think that picture's already gone on around the internet or whatnot. But Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre had a really good match here. Drew McIntyre gets the win. I love that. I love that Drew McIntyre gets a clean, solid win here at WrestleMania. Really build back his stock after it's been, kind of torn down with the last rivalries that he's had. But a fantastic match here as well. We then moved on to the IC title match between Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Braun Breaker, and Finn Balor. Again, another solid match here between these 4 guys. These 4 guys killed it as usual. And really the story of this match was the whole Dominic and Balor sort of cohesion, the situation between both of them. Dominic and Balor here tonight actually kind of got physical against each other. And it was actually Dominic who got the win over Balor after Balor hit a coup de grace, I believe, on Braun Breaker. He goes for the pin. Dominic, from out of nowhere, splashes him, gets the pin over Balor, pins Balor 1, 2, 3, and Dominic Mysterio is the new Intercontinental Champion. As I rightfully predicted this week, Dominic Mysterio was my sleeper pick. A lot of people, I think, kind of figured that Dominic would win here, was probably the best bet to win here, but Dominic did get the win, and obviously it's great to see Dominic with a singles championship on the main roster. We then had the Randy Orton surprise sort of invitational match here. And to my surprise, I never would have suspected that Joe Hendry would answer this call. I suspected somebody like a Rusev or a Nick Aldis or somebody like that. But when you really think about it, this was probably the best scenario for Randy Orton, because Joe Hendry, even though he is a TNA champion, him losing here tonight doesn't hurt him at the slightest. He's still mega over. He's still going to be a top star whenever he wants to make the jump over to WWE. He got hit with I think the best spot in this match, which was the ending spot where he does his little, turnaround pose. Randy Orton catches him in the RKO, gets the win, and afterwards, Randy shows him some respect, but then RKOs him once again, and Randy Orton has the biggest smile on his face after the match, after he's won. So again, like I said, it did what it had to do. Joe Hendry obviously got some mega exposure here at WrestleMania against Randy Orton. We then moved on to I think was probably the weakest match here, and when you look at the 2 names, it technically shouldn't be, but it was AJ Styles against Logan Paul. I went into this match, I actually kind of wanted to like this match, but then as we got the finish, I just thought to myself, I said, wow, this was really underwhelming, right? 2 guys here that by all accounts should have a phenomenal match, no pun intended, should have a phenomenal match, but they kind of just, underwhelmed me here tonight. I did like the Karrion Kross stuff, where Karrion Kross tried to help out AJ Styles, but AJ Styles wasn't having none of it. But that's kind of like, if Karrion Kross and Styles was the main takeaway that I got out of this match, then what was the point of this match? We then moved on to the ladies tag team match for the women's tag team championships. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez against Lyra Valkyria and a mystery partner of her choosing. They did this whole angle with Bayley, how she was taken out. when in reality she wasn't even injured. That whole situation with Bayley is really sketchy, really shady when you actually, hear about it. But obviously with Bayley out and Lyra needing a new partner, obviously this was going to be tailor-made for a Becky Lynch return. Becky Lynch returned here against Liv and Raquel, and there is some sort of history, I guess, here with Becky and Liv, because Becky and Liv, that was her last match for Becky a year ago, and the quote-unquote retirement by, Becky Lynch. And obviously going forward, you knew that with Becky Lynch returning here, she was obviously going to win the tag team championships with Lyra, and that's what happened. They are the new tag team champions, and that was essentially night 2 of WrestleMania. Again, let me know what you guys think of the whole Cena winning the 17th World Championship. What do you think of the finish? What do you think of the whole match in general? I think going forward, now we have to tell the stories of Cena and Punk, Cena and Orton, potentially at Backlash. What happens to Cody? Does Cody take a vacation? Does he go away for a little bit? What happens to him? Let me know what you guys think down below of night 2. And until next time, take care, and I will see y'all later.